In episode 60 of Dragon Ball Super, we find out that Goku has never kissed Chi-Chi on the mouth. We find this out after Trunks feeds Mai a senzu bean, mouth to mouth, like a mama bird feeding a baby bird. And then Goku makes a comment which leads to an exchange with Vegeta, and the end result of this is that, well, we find out that Goku has never kissed Chi-Chi on the mouth. Yes, I already did a video about this, and if you haven't watched it, well, you absolutely should. But there were some comments in that video that made me think, I guess I should do a follow-up to that video, because there were people in the comments claiming that the intended joke and the intended interpretation here is not that Goku never kissed Chi-Chi. No. There's another meaning here that we're all getting wrong. So, did I get it wrong? Well, that's what we're gonna find out on this follow-up edition of Dragon Ball Dictionary. Hey guys, Tony here. I make videos about Dragon Ball anime and anime localization from the perspective of somebody who actually speaks Japanese and has experience doing translation and interpretation. So if you're into that kind of thing, hit the subscribe button, leave me a like and a comment to help grow the channel. And if you really want to support what I do, consider getting a t-shirt from mekanekosushi.com, my online t-shirt shop where I put out shirts featuring art by real Japanese artists. Just so that we're all on the same page, let's start by checking out my translation of the infamous exchange between Goku and Vegeta in episode 60 of Dragon Ball Super.
Whoa, Trunks! How could you put your mouth on her mouth like that?
You mean you've never done that?
Of course not!
But you're married, aren't you?
What has that got to do with anything?
Never mind.
What do you mean, never mind?
Now let's check out a couple of comments from the previous video I did about the Goku kiss joke.
He probably meant the whole senzu and mouth thingy. Actually, it's better than people think, because it was referring to the baby bird kiss thing, not a normal kiss. The actual joke was Vegeta misinterpreted what Goku was saying. You all got fooled, just like Vegeta! The weirdest part is him caring, since he can tell that she can't chew the bean herself. So someone has to. This is the real issue.
So we've got two interpretations here. Let's call them Interpretation 1 and Interpretation 2. I know, so creative, but whatever, we're going with that. In Interpretation 1, Goku inadvertently admits to never having kissed Chi-Chi. In that first line that he says to Trunks, Goku explicitly says, mouth to mouth touching. This includes kissing, even though Goku apparently doesn't know the word kiss or is aware that kissing is something people who are married tend to do. So when Vegeta asks Goku, wait, you've never done that, but you're married? Goku, of course, says, of course not, because he's not aware what a kiss is and he doesn't understand the relationship between kissing and being married. That is where the joke is. The fact that we find out that he's never kissed Chi-Chi is, in a sense, incidental. In Interpretation 2, Goku is only referring to the act of feeding somebody mouth to mouth. However, Vegeta misunderstands this and thinks that Goku is making a general statement about the action of placing your mouth on somebody else's mouth. In this version, we don't know if Goku has ever kissed Chi-Chi or not. It's possible, but what Goku says in this scene, according to this interpretation, doesn't tell us anything one way or the other. So which is the correct interpretation? Well, it's Interpretation 1, but let me explain why. So when I was working on the previous video, and again when I was working on this video, I did quite a bit of looking around the Japanese side of the internet. I wanted to see what Japanese Dragon Ball fans think of this scene. So I looked on YouTube, I looked in YouTube comments, I looked for articles, I also looked on Yahoo Chiebukuro, which is basically the Japanese version of Yahoo Answers. And I looked on Twitter/X. There's so many posts by Japanese people reacting to this scene. I think the vast majority are probably from 10 years ago when this episode first aired. And, well, across the board, everybody was expressing confusion, I guess maybe mild amusement, or expressing, displeasure at what this scene revealed, because every single person that I came across, well, their interpretation was Goku was admitting to never having kissed Chi-Chi. In other words, interpretation 1. I didn't find a single example of a Japanese person arguing that interpretation 2 is the correct interpretation. In fact, I didn't find a single Japanese person that even brought up interpretation 2. And then, of course, there's Toshio Okada. I brought him up in my previous video. He's a well-known and respected anime and manga commentator, and in one of his videos, he talked about this scene. He referred to the revelation that Goku has never kissed Chi-Chi as the Goku kisu shita koto nai mondai, the Goku has never kissed anybody problem. Later in that same video, he even said something like, Toriyama sensei, even for Goku, that's a bit much. That's a bit over the top, ridiculous. It's something like that. Here, I'll put the exact translation on screen of what he says.
鳥山先生、そこはいくらなんでもすごすぎますよっていうですね。
Basically, Okada Toshio, a person who is known for his analysis of manga and anime, his conclusion is that it's interpretation 1. On top of that, I even asked a native speaker of Japanese. Now, I'm confident in my interpretation of this scene, but you never know, right? We all make mistakes. Maybe I'm totally wrong on this, right? So I wanted to ask a native speaker and see what they said. So I showed her the scene and I asked her, so what's going on here? And she told me, I guess Goku has never kissed Chi-Chi. And I went, okay, all right. Can you get this other reading, like this other interpretation? And she said, I guess, it's not likely, but I guess you could get it. And that's exactly what I thought. So I would say that, yes, interpretation 2 is possible. It's a bit of a stretch because here's the thing. Goku says mouth-to-mouth touching. It's a general statement that includes all kinds of mouth-to-mouth touching. He's not referring to the act of transferring food from mouth to mouth. He's not using a word like kuchi-utsushi, which means like transferring food mouth to mouth. He's specifically saying mouth-to-mouth touching. That, it's not 100% explicit, I guess. That's why I said, yeah, it's possible to use interpretation 2 here, to get interpretation 2 here. But the way it's worded is going to make people think that it's interpretation 1, right? Mouth-to-mouth touching in general, that's going to include kissing. And so we get the interpretation that Goku has never kissed Chi-Chi. But just for the sake of argument, let's say that interpretation 2 is the intended interpretation. As far as I can tell, there are either very, very, very few Japanese Dragon Ball fans who think that it's interpretation 2, or there are no Japanese Dragon Ball fans who think it's interpretation 2. Everybody that I've seen interprets this as Goku admitting that he's never kissed Chi-Chi. In other words, if interpretation 2 is the intended meaning, that would be further proof that this is a very poorly written scene. If you write a joke that nobody gets, well, you wrote a bad joke. But ultimately, all the evidence suggests that it absolutely is interpretation 1. But I do think that this joke has some potential. Like the idea of Vegeta and Goku having a misunderstanding about kissing? On paper, that seems like it could be a hilarious joke. But obviously I don't think it was executed well. Which made me think, how would I fix this scene? Well, there's multiple ways you can change this scene, but the simplest way that I came up with was to alter what Goku says to Trunks. So in my version, he would say something like, "Whoa, Trunks, I've never seen that before." Now you could tweak the wording here and there, but that would be the general idea. And so what we would get here is basically interpretation 2. Is this hilarious? I'm not sure, but I do think it's funnier than what we got. But let me know what you think. Do you like my version, or do you have an even better version? Drop it in the comments. And with that, I think I'm done talking about the Goku kiss joke. Until we get the Dragon Ball Super remaster version of this scene. And, well, they I don't know, they make some weird change that I have to come back to address. Oh, I am not looking forward to that. I hope that does not happen. But for now, we're done. Don't forget to subscribe, like, leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next one.